So, welcome back. We're starting off today inside the car, just to give you kind of an overview of what's happened since the last video. I'd been pulling at the loom, kind of bringing it back towards the battery just to get the appropriate length for the manifold controller plug, or the manifold plug and the compressor wiring. But in doing so, and I went to run actually the pink signal wire, which you see just laying there. In doing so, I couldn't really, for whatever reason, the whole system just wouldn't come to life, no matter what I did. I thought maybe it was something to do with it being a much older car, that maybe I don't know, I couldn't figure it out. But anyway, I had tried to tap the ECU fuse, the ignition, all kinds of stuff, even directly off the battery, and nothing. So I thought I was going to try and maybe pull out the whole loom and investigate a little bit further. I even got onto an old friend of mine from school who's an electrician, and he was going to come over. We were going to buzz out all the wires for continuity and stuff, make sure there was nothing broken, because the only thing that made sense was that the pink signal wire there was broken. Maybe it had been pinched while I was running the loom or something like that. But so I kind of left it at that. I was a bit cross about that. I hadn't done a whole lot more. So what we've discovered since is that apparently the system won't come to life if the battery voltage is below 9 volts. So I threw in a new battery that I had lying here in the shed. Well, not new battery, but certainly better condition battery than what was in it. I assume the old battery just got kind of run down. And it's the original battery from when I bought the car like 4 years ago, so it's probably knackered anyway. But threw a new battery in it. It's caught the end of the pink wire there, tapped it off the positive terminal of the battery, and the whole system came to life, which was fantastic. I was literally jumping up and down, because I thought, what if my manifold is gammy? What if the loom has a break in it? Something like that. So the plan for today is to tidy up a lot of that wiring. Like, I pulled the relay apart just to kind of be checking for power and stuff like that. I had all of this wiring all nice and neatly tidied up. So the plan for today is to put all of that back, find the appropriate fuse to run the signal wire off. They say they want, as I mentioned before, like a true ignition source, one that doesn't flicker or die like an accessory when you crank the car, when you try and start it. But I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal if it's just a normal power that you get it from or whatever. I'm not sure. So run that wire, make sure it's fused correctly, get the wiring all tidied up, and that should be about it. Then finish up the I need to move that little spacer there, so it sits, because at the moment it sits just there. It needs to sit here, so it's ever so slightly lopsided. Maybe mount fittings in the tank, we'll see, but realistically today I'll probably just get this stuff done. I might get the rear shocks stripped out of the car, and at the very least offer them up, see where I'll have to drill holes and so on, but we'll see how it goes. I found the appropriate ignition wire. It's the black with the yellow trace right there. Now that is the plug from the other side of the fuse box. It's essentially the ignition loom, so it goes up into the fuse box. Just, you can't see it anyway, but you get the idea. So there's power at the white one, the yellow one back here, the black with the yellow trace, and then the black with a white trace, black with a yellow trace. So that's the one I'm going to tap it into now. I don't really want to do it this way because it's kind of ghetto, but I guess as long as it works, it doesn't really matter how it works. So I'm going to pare back the sheath on the wire, maybe roughly there. I might go back a little bit further, we'll see. Solder in the fuse holder that they provide you with, tape it all up nice and secure, and then solder the pink signal wire into the other end of that, so it will come on and off with ignition. It will have a true ignition source while the car is starting, and it'll be fused. So while it won't be pretty, no one's going to be looking at it anyway. So if in a rare case that you might be doing this in a 90, definitely 90 and 91, I don't know about 92 and 93 Accord, that is your true ignition source. That's that taken care of. So as I said, it's fused and soldered right there. That's the loom side. That side is going up to the, you can see where I have the pink wire. It's just, well, obviously it's going to get tidied up in a second, but it's soldered on in here. It's not pretty by any means. I've never really done soldering before, but tape it up in a second now. Coil up the excess of the signal wire. Not sure where yet or anything, but I have coiled up the excess of the loom right there, that will be under the carpet and under the seat, so I might pull that back and do the same, wrap it up in there, just because it could potentially be standing on stuff there. Probably not, like, but just to be on the safe side. And I've checked it. Actually, I'll reconnect the battery and we'll show a little test. Okay, so battery's connected up the front. I'll connect this guy back in here just loosely. We'll do a test fit. I'll switch on the ignition and you'll see it's the ignition on, and there we go. Controller's alive. The wiring is all finished and tidied up, so it's not pretty under there by any means, but it'll be okay. It fused right there, you can kind of see it in the center of the screen. Comes all the way down. I've just tidied up the excess just there. That'll be under the carpet and under the seat, so it shouldn't be a big deal. Down along here, and then up the relay mounted up there. We find kind of splits down again. The compressor wiring, there's no need to wire that yet till I have the stand for the manifold loom. It's fine. Then the USB cable, I brought it the other side. I figured it'd be easier because I plan on trying to run the lines in that little kind of channel just there. Let's see. So we'll keep one less thing out of there. But that comes up along, follows the heater vent thingy up in behind the dash, and that will sit on. There's a nice little kind of tray, I suppose, for want of a better word, that sits on top of the gear cables there as part of the center console. Let's leave the controller there. I might get a little magnetic holder thing and put it up there or something, but I don't know if I want to show it off or keep it kind of hidden. But so finally that's the wiring side of it done. So I'm going to move on to moving the little spacer thing there. That's only a 5-minute job, I won't bother recording that. Just give it a good hoover out, as I ordered sound deadening material the day before yesterday and it arrived this morning. So, but that'll be one of the last things to go in, because I can just trim it around everything and lift everything up out of the way. So I think that's about it for the time being. I'm going to move that spacer, and then I might pull out the rear shocks, or at least on one side anyway, and see how much of a battle that might be. The last thing I had, I didn't end up stripping out the rear shocks. I got too kind of, today got away from me, I guess, a little bit. So I was going to start wiring the compressor. So what I noticed is that obviously it's a very, very heavy gauge cable, and any of the little connectors that I have, while they're fine, and you know, there's your average size, but where you actually put the wire in was way too small. So what I ended up doing was chopping the insulation, or the cover, the sheath, whatever you want to call, off it, because I didn't want to use these guys, because I do want it to be kind of modular. Like if I ever have to take the setup out or something to that effect, I want it to be relatively easy. But I cut off all the insulation stuff and soldered and then heat shrink what was there, and it wasn't great. So I'd been looking for connectors that were the appropriate size, and I found some on the Halford's website. They're the appropriate size in there. The only thing is, and it's absolutely stupid, they sell them, but they only sell the female end. They don't sell the male end. It's like, why sell that one and not the other one? Like, it's stupid. So what I did find, and I was going to do something with these, like use just the connector, and you know, like fold it over there and fold this side over, because that does fit into there, straightforward. But what I didn't even really notice when I was buying, I just thought, oh yeah, they look like they'll take the right size, or that the wire will fit, which I've offered it up to there, and it will indeed clasp around it. You can't really see it there because the other black wire is in the way, but it's actually a proper like little block for disconnecting things. So I think I'm just going to use that. I'm going to crimp those on real quick, make sure it does indeed fit and work. That'll probably be it for today. Just because I've ran out of time really for today. It's starting to get pretty dark and pretty cold, so that'll do for now. And the next video will be hopefully in another couple of days when things will be wired. I'm still waiting on, I made this ghetto replica, I guess, of the stand that I'm waiting on for the manifold, just to check fitting as well. That's essentially the size and shape it'll be. I just need to wait for that, and that'll be, I imagine, well, I'd like to think only a couple of days, but we'll see how we go. So for now anyway, the wiring is all finished and tidied away, except for the compressor. I just need to wire that up, double check that it works, and that's it. So I'll be back again in a couple of days, I'd say.